what? I really love that five financial mastery that you just talked about. It's really, really cool. We should have actually a segment, a whole hour of segment on that one because it will help a lot of viewers.
Absolutely. We can totally do that. And there's testimonials like crazy. I have a girl that we helped wipe away $92,000 of debt in 1 year of working with us. So, that's just one testimonial to the many things that we do. And that's my mission, is to get the education out so that people can live a much stressless life when it comes to finances.
Yes. Do you want to add anything, Joe and Bill?
Well, that's a real good point. Financial mastery is something we all need to learn how to master for sure. Just one quick point I want to mention a lot. Too many kids come out of high school thinking you need to go to university right away. And sometimes the class costs $300, $400, $500 one course. Well, they start at a community college, take care of their history, their sciences, their mathematics, English requirements first. They can save a third or even two-thirds of that money and give them time to figure out what they want to do in their life. That's just one point I want to bring up. Not everyone has to jump into university right away, and as Billy was mentioned, up to local business school.
I think one of the other aspects in finances today is people rely on a job. And they are focused on that one paycheck that comes in weekly, bi-weekly, monthly, and that's it. They do not have a plan B. They do not even really look at their finances for investment. They may have a 401k at work, or work may have a retirement fund for them, but they don't have a savings account set up. They aren't looking at the stock market. They aren't looking at any investment. And on top of that, they're not in the process of looking for a backup plan to be certain that, God forbid, the job goes away, they have some form of income.
Good point. Multiple streams of income. We'll talk about that later.
Yep, we're gonna talk about other investment. And would you like to say a really quick thing about investment, Veronica, before I let you go, Han?
Yeah, investing is it's a really strategic thing if people understand proper strategies. And I think that's the biggest thing, is a lot of people are so confused about basic financial education that when you bring up the word investing, they go nuts because they're so clueless to it. And you have to understand risk tolerance, right? And so there's kind of 6 levels to investing. And when we talk about 6 levels to investing, the first base is what you call your foundation. If you're going to get into risky investments, there's nothing wrong with that. But the most important thing that most people forget is that 4th key to money mastery, which is protection of money. And so as you get into the investing world, see, the challenge that you have is a lot of people will dump their money into, say, a 401k because that's just what they know, because that's what work offers. But the reality is a 401k may be the #1 best investment for a person right off of the bat. Most likely not, because again, it's just gambling in the market. If the market tanks, so does the 401k, depending on where they're allocated. And so what we like to teach people, or what I teach people, is how do you set up a proper foundation? How do you have an emergency bucket for where it has 3 to 6 months worth of living expenses? God forbid you lose your job, right? So that's important for the foundation. Then the second piece to foundation is making sure that you have a proper strategy to where a percentage of your money is protected. You might get conservative growth with different investment strategies, but protecting it so that if the market tanks, you don't lose that principal. Then, as you work your way up the different levels to investing, once you get towards those top tiers, like level 5, level 6 of investing, then you get into your risk with the right foundation,
Mm-hmm.
you can build a beautiful home that's going to last for decades. And that's the same kind of principle with your money.
Oh my God, all these topics that we're having are really, really making me sweat. Actually, it's very interesting. I love it. I love it. And we have, like what I said earlier, viewers. When it comes to finances, it's a really broad topic that we can talk about hours and hours. These are really important. These actually topics that it affects a lot of our day-to-day living. It affects, because every time you buy something, how much you spend every single day, how much you make that day, actually comes all into play. Right, Joe?
Right. You just spend less than we're bringing in.
Yeah, that's true. Well, the last thing that I want to talk about before I let you go, I'm just loving you, Veronica. I don't want to let you go, honestly. But one more thing before I let you go, I promise. I know that Veronica actually has a lot of things going on every single day, and we are so lucky to have her today, honestly. I've been reaching out to her so many times. That's one of the reasons why we postponed the finances topic, because I want her to get into this show, because I know that it's gonna happen, right? Before you go, how I want to say something about taxes, since actually it's gonna be ending soon, and we're gonna wait for another year. Go ahead. Anything that you can contribute.
Taxes is a big one. Taxes, if you look at it from a perspective of expenses, is most people don't realize that taxes are your number one largest expense over your lifetime. If you think about all of what you pay over your lifetime, taxes is your number one largest expense. In fact, you include your Social Security, right? You're going to have to pay into that. If you have a W-2 job, you're going to pay income tax, you're going to pay property tax, you're going to pay state tax, you're going to pay FICA taxes, and the list can go on and on with all the taxes that you pay. And 85% of the population right now overpays on taxes. And what's crazy about that is, if you really think about it, a lot of people love getting a tax refund at the end of the year. But the reality is, if you get a tax refund at the end of the year, that just means you overpaid the government throughout the year. And now the government is holding on to your money. And do you think that they're making interest on your money? Absolutely, 100% they are. But when they refund that money to you in the following year, are you getting the refund plus interest? Heck no, you're not. So what we like to teach people is, how do we get you the best tax benefit so you can keep more money in your pocket monthly versus paying it out to the government, and then you go reinvest that money so you can earn the interest, you can get the best benefit, because again, if you can keep that money in your pocket, you can put it in other places and gain interest versus somebody else gaining interest on your money. And one of the biggest ways that I teach people how to lower their tax liability over time is to learn how to have some sort of business. See, what most people don't realize is the tax benefits in our country, in the U.S., are designed for business owners. And so business owners are the individuals who get the best tax benefits, and they get to lower their tax liability better than anybody else out there. And that's because, again, the reason the government puts that in place is because 80% of our workforce comes from business owners who create and build businesses. And so they're giving the benefit to business owners to be able to have access to things like itemized deductions. Mm-hmm. In fact, with the new 2018 tax reform, they're allowing businesses, especially like what they call pass-through entities, LLCs, S-corps, what they call pass-through businesses, they're giving them an additional 20% deduction right off of the top just for having a business that's a pass-through entity. So what does that mean? If you made $100,000 as a W-2 employee, you are taxed on every penny of that $100,000. But if you're a business owner and you made that same $100,000 as a business using one of these pass-through entities, you actually get a 20% deduction off of that money right off the top because you earned it by having a business. And so 20% right off of the top on $100,000 is basically $20,000 that you don't have to pay taxes on. So what most people don't realize is they think, well, yeah, I make 6 figures a year, but if you're a W-2, you're going to get hit the worst with taxes. And so we like to teach people they're still going to have the same benefits as a full-time business. And that's one of the biggest ways to lower tax liability upon a whole list of other things over the long haul.
You should make actually an episode about business taxes in the future.
Oh, I have a ton.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, I know. Well,
You and my group.
yes. Well, go ahead, Billy. I know that you wanted to say something from the beginning.
No, not at all, really. I just wanted to say, Veronica, right on. Excellent. I have not heard of you previously. I look forward to getting to know the information you have. It's obvious you've got a head on your shoulders for money, number one, but also for training and supporting others in being able to take care of their dad. Thank you.
Well, yeah.
Thank you.
Well, we're gonna be right back for our next segment. I know we hear a lot, but we wanna hear more Veronica in the future. Thank you so much for having you on my show. It's an honor, Miss Singh. I really appreciate you taking the time, and I hope we can go on and on every single day. Like what I said earlier, actually I'm sweating when you were talking because you know what? I am one of the guilty person who doesn't actually take care of her personal finances a lot. So, and this topic actually is very interesting. It's very educational, and we love what we hear from you. What you gonna say, Joe?
No, that's 100% right on. Really and I have been entrepreneurs probably for a couple of decades. We're real familiar with taxes, and the less we get back every year, we're doing something right. That's all I got to say about that. The less we get back, we're doing something right. That's what talk about protecting money that we do that. Thanks, Veronica.
Yeah, thank you, Veronica. Well, viewers, we are actually just getting started and everything is getting heat up, but we have to let go Miss Veronica. We will get her back as soon as possible because these are all educational things that we should be knowing, especially on our personal finances. But we will be right back, and we are probably gonna have another guest on the next segment. Please stay tuned.
All right, bye, Veronica.
Bye, thanks, guys.